Lieutenant Colonel Eric Stewart. Marshal CBEMC was a British Antarctic explorer with the Nimrod Expedition led by Ernest Shackleton in 1907–09, and was one of the party of 4 men who reached Furthest South at 88.383 degrees south, 162.000 degrees east, -88.383, 162.000 on the 9th of January 1909. Biography. Born in Hampstead, Surrey on the 29th of May 1879, he was educated at Monkton Combe School, Bath, and at Emmanuel College, Cambridge, before qualifying as a surgeon from St Bartholomew's Hospital. Marshall met Shackleton in 1906 at a house party in London. Shackleton told him about the proposed expedition to the South Pole and suggested Marshall go on a training course on surveying, and then he could become the expedition's surgeon, surveyor and cartographer, as well as the principal photographer. See Polar Friction. According to Leif Mills, who has written about the two men in Polar Friction, the relationship between Marshall and Shackleton, 2012. Marshall was an indispensable member of Shackleton's expedition, yet on the voyage down from New Zealand to Antarctica, during the long Antarctic winter at the base at Cape Royds and on the actual southern journey, Marshall constantly criticized Shackleton on his diary, sometimes in almost vitriolic language, and seemed to have nothing but contempt for him. Marshall maintained his criticism of Shackleton throughout his life, referring to him as the biggest mountebank of the century in one letter held at the Royal Geographic Institute dated 30 August 1956. Marshall joined the Royal Army Medical Corps and was commissioned as a second lieutenant in April 1915. He was mentioned in dispatches by Sir Douglas Haig, Commander-in-Chief of the British armies in France and Flanders, in April 1916 for service at Ypres and for service at the Somme in May 1917. He was awarded the Military Cross in January 1918. By the end of the First World War he had attained the rank of acting major. In autumn 1918, Marshall was posted to Archangel in northern Russia as a member of the British North Russian Expeditionary Force. Marshall married Enid in 1922. In the 1930s the family moved to Kenya, where he practiced farming for a few years before returning to England. During the Second World War, Marshall rejoined the Royal Army Medical Corps and achieved the rank of lieutenant colonel. After the war ended, Marshall joined the Ministry of Pensions as a medical officer. When he retired, he and his wife moved to Yarmouth in the Isle of Wight. He died on the 26th of February 1963.